who will deliver his opening statement.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Magandang hapon na po, tanghali sa ating lahat. Nagpapasalamat po ako dahil nagkaroon naman tayo ng pagkakataon na mapag-usapan kung anong mga bagay at mga issues concerning our nation today. So I will be accepting your questions now. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir. Melalis Moras from PTV4.
Hi, good morning po, Kong Zia. Kahapon idinaos na yung final interagency meeting para sa SONA 2025. Kayo po bilang isang mambabatas, meron na po ba kayong wish list o mga nais marinig sa magiging talumpati ng presidente sa nalalapit na SONA?
Una sa lahat, ako sa ngayon, no, very, very important na malaman. Personally, I would say, because I'm one of those members who have filed for the total ban of e-gambling. No? Dahil alam po natin ito na hindi lang ito nakaka-apekto sa ating mga kabataan sa ngayon, sa ating marginalized sector. Ito yung pinaka-issue dito is it may not only be but a concern of mental health problem because it is very addictive. It may also be a problem of, it may also turn into a police problem, no, security problem kung hindi nagmasok po ito. So I would like to know the clear direction of this administration when it comes to regulating this kind of industry, emerging industry. Pangalawa, I also would like to know directly from the SONA, from the President himself, what would be the necessary reforms in terms of upholding accountability and transparency in all of our government transactions, especially those public officials involved. How do we manage to perfectly allow the utilization of confidential funds, intelligence funds, so that it can also be used, implemented according to what the law demands and what the law allows. So kasi tumataas nga po ito ng clamor ng public accountability. So I hope to learn from the President on what kind of direction should we go, no, in terms of this type of effort in order to curb corruption in our government. And most especially since we've seen during the 19th Congress na meron talagang kailangan nating i-amendahan ng mga batas. That's why we have several investigations that we had. There were also individuals who came out in the open, even putting themselves at risk, yung mga sinasabi nating mga whistleblowers. So I also like to hear from the SONA on how we can strengthen our witness protection program so that people, those who are coming out, in order to say the truth, inform the public kung ano yung nangyayari, ay mabigyan ng sapat na assistance. Gusto ko lang din malaman, no, kung direction of the President insofar as our effort to support the Secretary Angara's proposal doon sa learning recovery and development skills na gusto niyang iain. Kasi kailangan talaga ho natin mag-catch up, no, with the trend right now na we're ranking 57. So I guess DepEd really needs our support, not only of legislation, but direct implementation orders come from the executive on how we can support and help our educational sector.
Thank you po, Kong.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mela. Tina Pangaliban Perez from GMA7 is now recognized.
Good noon, sir.
Good noon.
Sir, sa latest SWS survey on the impeachment, 66% of the respondents agreed. Kasama po dun sa mga taga Mindanao, where you're from, 55% po yung nag-agree rin. 19% disagreed and 15% are undecided on the issue of whether or not the VP should address the allegations in the impeachment. Your thoughts po?
It's a direct expression of what the people says that we are what the 19th Congress did and what we continuously do, holding each officials, the Vice President in this particular matter, accountable to her actions, is a vindication from the public that there's really a clamor ng ating taong bayan na dapat yung public clamor for accountability na mga issues na hindi nasagot ay dapat masagot sa tamang paraan, which is this case, the impeachment trial. So, nagpapatunay po ito na we are on the right track. What we did was actually to serve not any particular political agenda, but for the interest of the nation. And the people understood that message. Kaya yung survey na mataas na sinasabing kailangan umpisahan ang impeachment trial ay vindication po yan unang-una sa mga sa ginawa po natin na para panagutin kung sino man yung dapat managot without fear or favor. So we're happy personally as one of those who supported the impeachment complaint, affixed my signature. I feel that I'm vindicated, and I feel that the people are with us in holding public officials accountable to their actions.
Pero sir, may impact po ba itong public clamor na ito? Because there had been surveys in the past where the respondents agreed that the trial should have already started.
I think the message that the public wants to send to us as public officials is to be more attuned and compliant with what the Constitution says. And the Constitution says that those impeachable officers, if they are facing serious violations that is tantamount to betrayal of public trust, then impeachment trial, as demanded by the Constitution, should proceed. I'm up for a discussion, and I even support the amending some provisions, key provisions in the Constitution, kasi matagal na po itong Constitution na ito. Matanda na po itong, mas matanda po itong Constitution sa mga tao na nandito ngayon sa kwarto na ito. I guess we need to make sure that our Constitution is alive, dynamic, that it can also reflect the current situation, the current demand of the country. So ako, the reason why I supported the effort to amend key provisions in the Constitution, particularly the economic provisions, so that we can also be at par and compete with the international market trend. Kasi mukhang nawawala na po tayo, medyo nasa dulo na po tayo. So if there is an effort to again revive the issue on constitutional amendments to cite specific provisions, then I am up for it.
Sir, how will you address yung fears po ng marami na this will open the doors to political amendments?
Similar to what we have answered in the previous interviews such as this, na I would stick to limiting the discussion on key provisions. Hindi pag-uusapan yung political provisions ng ating Constitution. This is just merely surgical. We target what are the causes of why the country is now lagging behind in terms of socio-economic condition compared to our ASEAN neighbors, and let's stick to that and no longer delve on matters that may affect not constructively the mindset of the people insofar as knowing the political situation, halimbawa, na baka ang fear nila is mapunta doon sa usapin ng pampolitika. So ang akin lang po, ang aking position dyan, similar with our position in the previous Congress, in the 19th Congress, limitado lang po yung pag-uusapan at hindi po mag-i-expand dyan sa complete revision ng ating Constitution.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Earl Tobias from IBC 13. Go ahead.
Hi, Kong Zia. Good afternoon po. Sir, kahapon, nag-file po si Kong Benny Abante ng total ban of all forms ng online gambling. Kaya na naman po, nakuha ko yung sentimento ni Attorney Shell Joc, no? Ang sinusulong ng Akbayan Party List ay restriction or strict regulation. Pero kung kayo po ang tatanungin, Kong, as you've said before, gusto nyo nga na total ban sana. Kung yun po ang point of debate, saan po kayo mas papanik?
Ang sa akin lang, very very basic po ang aking proposal at aking gusto. If you want to remove the poisonous tree, you uproot it, not to trim the branches. Kasi ang problema po ngayon sa e-sugal or e-gambling, mahirap talaga i-police at i-monitor dyan. So, hindi ho ako, masakit ko naisipin na sabihin ko natin na i-restrict man lang natin, but the website, pumapasok pa rin yung mga sinasabi nilang specialty platforms na games, na platforms na bilang nagpa-pop up. So the problem really is not just to restrict it and allow its operation, but the impact of that if we continue on allowing this kind of games online. Kasi digital na nga po yan and everybody has phones, even our children. Ang problema sa ngayon, masyado nang tumataas po yung youth addiction sa gambling because of this online gambling. Sabi ko nga po, hindi lang po problema yan ata sa yung financial distress ng pamilya. Hindi lang ito problema sa addiction sa mga kabataan. Pag inaalaw po natin ito ay mukhang magiging problema. National, it could also be a peace and order problem. Sa totoo lang po, wala naman hong yumayaman na sugarol. Ang yumayaman lang po ang nag-ooperate ng pasugalan. Lahat po yan, alam na hong natin yan, lahat po na nagsusugal at nalululong sa ganitong bisyo ay umuuwing talunan. Ang pinaka-problema is nagkakaroon ito ng sanhi sa pagkakahiwa-hiwalay at pagwatak-watak ng pamilya.
Thank you, Kong. Follow-up ko na lang po sa tanong ni Ate Mela kanina. Nasabi niyo na rin po before na parang comparable ito sa illegal pogo issue
Yes.
na natatanggap natin dati before the SONA mismo ng Pangulo. Gaano po ka-critical na sa Pangulo mismo manggaling yung direktiba na parang nung pagbaba ng illegal pogo last year ay ganun din sana yung mangyaring posisyon niya sa kanya?
If Malacanang puts its weight on the pressure of banning the e-sugal or e-gambling, no, from the operation, talagang magiging priority yan because whatever the President says, either verbally, would become a state policy. So ako, ang position ko, let us not compromise yung safety, public safety. We should not compromise yung ating mga kabataan na malulong sa ganitong klaseng bisyo. And the marginalized. Ang problema is yung marginalized sector minsan ang nagiging biktima. We should not compromise that just for a mere possible revenue na makukuha. No? Kasi yun ang parating sinasabi. Ako mahirap ko yung i-compromise personally. Na ayokong may makita na kung hindi ito masusukpo, in the long-term effect of this would be devastating, not only to the youth, but even to the country as a whole. Yung moral fabric, pinag-uusapan po natin, talagang it will start to erode.
Thank you, Earl. We call on Rosalie Cos from UNTV. Please go ahead.
Good dun po, Kong. Earlier today po, nag-file po ang Makabayan lawmakers po ng isang proposal para gawing 5% ng GDP. Yun pong inilalaan na pondo ng pamahalaan sa health sector po. Would you support such measure?
Ako, anything that would provide a larger effort, the volume of effort in the larger help and assistance to education and to health, I'm open for it. That's why ako personally nag-file din po ako ng pag-amenda ng charter ng PhilHealth to include not only the dependents, to expand the definition to include neurodivergent individuals. Kasi based on the charter ng PhilHealth ngayon is limited lang sila dun sa mental and physical disability as a definition for those who are independent, ng mga direct members ng PhilHealth. So I guess any discussion about aligning specifically in institutionalizing support and assistance to public health, I am up for it and I would probably support.
Pero sir, kailangan po ba magkaroon ng pagbabago doon po sa prioridad ng budget allocation ng pamahalaan? Kasi para po mapataas sa 5% yung GDP, 5% ng GDP ang health services, dapat po mas maging prioridad ng gobyerno yun pong kalusugan kaysa sa infrastructure projects.
Sa akin, lahat naman yan, if you look at it comprehensively, it is all the proposals of the government through the NEP are interconnected. So you cannot actually compartmentalize one from the other. Everything is connected. That's why it's the national budget proposal. Kasi lahat po yan importante. So ang akin lang is how to prioritize the sector